Today, I want us to start thinking about if you were to write down your moments of this time, how would you want your life to be remembered? What are some positive things that have happened for you during this time? Or maybe there's negative things you want to highlight. Think, if you put your memories and writings into a time capsule and somebody 100, 200, 500 years from now open that up, what would you want them to read that would help them understand what life was like for you? I'm thinking about how I've been surrounded by people I care about, how I've started to learn different things, how I took this time to go back to school. What are some things that you're thinking about? What do you want people to think about when they open your time capsule? Join me as we start our journal entry for today.
All right, writers. So let's think. How would you want this moment to be written and remembered? We know that we learn history by people's written account, and we want to make sure that all people's voices are heard. So, how will your voice be heard for this moment in history? Today, I want to teach you this, that journal writers often pause and think about how they want their written to be seen by the world. We might ask ourselves, how do we want this moment to be written and remembered? Now, when I think about this moment in history, I think there have been many positives to come out of this, but of course there have been many negatives too. Let me show you how my journal entry would look for this. If my writing was put inside of a time capsule and someone opened it 100 years from now, I'd want them to know all the positive and negative things that I have been thinking about during this crazy time period. There have been many negative moments during this time. Having to close schools and not see my students was probably the hardest thing for me. I loved going into the classroom at PS 142 and seeing my kids each day. I miss seeing and hanging out with my friends. We used to hang out all the time, and now we can only FaceTime. And I much prefer to see people in person. I also feel sad for all the people who have been hurt by this virus. It makes me sad to think that this virus has changed people's lives. When I think about the negatives, I also think about the positives. This time has really given me the opportunity to think about the things that are really important to me. If I used to do something a lot before, but now I do not, and I'm okay not doing it, then maybe it wasn't that important for me to begin with. And I also think that this has given me time to do the things that I have always wanted to do, but I didn't have the time for. All right, writers, take a moment and think. If somebody in the future found your writing, how would you want this moment to be written and remembered? What are the things that are important about this time that you want documented? Are there things that you feel everyone should read about in their history books? What things have you gone through during this time that you might not necessarily have gone through without this pandemic? Take a moment and think. How do you want this moment remembered in the future? All right, writers, I'm excited to see what you do. Off you go.